And good evening once again, everybody. I'm Davey Jones on the Coach's Show from Pizza Hut Bucyrus on the WQEL YouTube page and Crawford County Now YouTube page. Our broadcasts will be heard and seen a little after 9:30 tonight and on those pages all the way through the end of the week. It's the Buckeye Central part of the show. Chad Jensen is with us along with Buckeye Central football players. Our show brought to you in part by Blythe Friedley and Todd McDougall at Friedley and Company Insurance up in New Washington, Ted Coder at Monarch Body Shop in Dutchtown, The Ohio State University Marion, a Big Ten education close to home, Mike Kleinite Ag Credit Residential Lending Bucyrus, Mount Gilead Marion, Dr. Thomas M. Britton at Clubview Vision Center, Dr. Erica Schieber, Bucyrus Veterinary Service at 222 West Mary Street, and Lou Ann Krebs, River's Edge Embroidery, Screen Printing, and Signs, Route 309, right across from the Marion Depot. And Chad Jensen is with us right now, and Chad on the short half of a score of 42-13 to Upper Sandusky. Coach, last week, Coach, you were pointing out to me that Upper Sandusky is a D4 school. I know you don't use that as an excuse, but they have a lot more kids to choose from.
Oh yeah, I mean they're almost 3 times our size, so it's quite a challenge for us.
All right, but at the same time, we're quoted in Crawford County Now saying you were really proud of the way your kids battled Upper Sandusky, and even though they have a lot of really good players.
Yeah, it was 7-7 in the first quarter, and we actually had the ball right away, and we were driving inside our 20 and turned it over. And so we had opportunities there. It was 14-7 after a quarter. I mean, it was 28-7 at halftime, but, we battled. Our kids really battled, played hard, and did the best they could.
Upper Sandusky scored the first touchdown with a 3-yard run, but you came right back and got a 35-yard touchdown pass from Derek Steen, Tyler Sanderson, tied the score at 7. So
yeah, I mean we moved the ball our first possession and our second possession really well. We were able to take advantage of some things, but ultimately their athletes gave us some problems later on.
All right, fourth quarter, nice defensive play from Phillips, a 14-yard pick for a touchdown.
Yeah, it was Alec Phillips, one of our freshman players. He plays a little bit of varsity and played a lot Friday night. And he read his key real well and jumped in front of the pass and took it to the house.
It's got to make you feel good for the future, Coach.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, like I said, our JV team's 6-1, and we play a lot of our young kids are getting a little bit of action.
All right, Derek Dean, 16-29 with 1 pick, but 168 yards in the evening. Rushing Manny Mullins had 70 yards and caught 5 passes in the offense. On the season, Derek Dean is now just over 60% for 1,310 yards and 11 touchdowns. And that is very nice for a school like Buckeye Central, who is playing a lot of bigger schools.
Yeah, I mean, our league is very challenging. Our schedule is very tough, and I think we've had some players put up some stats, but bottom line is our kids play hard every game, and they don't quit, and anybody that sees us play knows that.
Manny Mullins is number 2 in the league in rushing with 735 yards, and that's something you got to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, our kids play hard and do the best they can.
All right, we've got young men around the table: Trevor Kurgis, Elijah Lenhart, Max Eichholz, and Garrett Vaughn. We'll talk to these young guys here in just one moment. Our show brought to you in part tonight by Lee Plymel and Brad Seibert at Plymel Insurance Group, Bucyrus and Gallion, Hannah Newton, Wendy's, downtown Bucyrus and Upper Sandusky, North Central State College, Mansfield, and the Crawford Success Center, Bucyrus, Tabitha Smith and the Associates at Waycraft Industries, Rod Steiger and everybody at Pizza Hut Bucyrus and Gallion, the host of the show since 1992, and the Burkhardt family at Burkhardt Farm Sales, your Case IH dealer, farmers serving farmers on the Manette U. Winchester Road. Around the table we go. Up first, junior wide receiver, defensive back Trevor Kurgis, and Trevor is coming down here to the nitty gritty at the end of the season. Talk to me a little bit about how you as a player and your team as a group have grown this season.
I think we've grown a lot actually, especially from last year.
What has made you grow? What about it this season has made you grow?
We had some really good teams, good competition, and that's really helped me and my
All right, talk to me a little about your season. You caught some passes at wide receiver. All right, I think I remember seeing your name in there. And as a defensive back, I asked this question to some other guys. Wide receiver and defensive back, they kind of complement each other a little bit. Are you able to perhaps, as a defensive back, think a little bit about, okay, what would I do if I were playing wide receiver right now and kind of try to anticipate a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you got any picks this year?
Yep, just one.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. And there's other sports besides football? Basketball. Very good, young man. Thanks for coming by. Freshman Elijah Lenhart, also a wide receiver and defensive back, and I'm assuming you're playing mostly JV, but have you got any varsity time at all?
I've gotten a few snaps on the varsity.
Okay, that's good. All right, well, but you're playing on a very successful JV program this year, 6-1 right now. Talk to me a little about that JV program and how you're contributing into it.
I think we just like put things together and like we just play. We all do our jobs on JV.
All right.
And it just like turns into something.
How much do you learn from being the scout team for the varsity?
I learned a lot from like the receivers and how they like line up the routes.
Most JV teams are scout teams for the receiver, but has that made you a better football player for the JV program?
Yeah, it teaches me a lot.
All right, buddy. Other sports other than football?
Track.
Track, fine, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Max Eichholz is a senior. He's O-line and D-line. And Max, you've been here before, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, talk to me. You like the pizza, right?
Oh, definitely.
Worst pizza ever had, so pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
That's why I come here for the pizza.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not insulted by that at all. Max, talk to me a little bit about the O-line D-line this year. You guys got a pretty good sized line for D7 school.
Yeah, we do, and I think we're also pretty experienced. All of us have played last year, so that's always good that we have a line that has came back and with good experience.
All right, you're a senior. You got 2 weeks left. What are you thinking for these last 2 weeks now?
Just leave it out on the field. I don't want to walk off that field with no regrets.
All right. Other sports other than football?
Track.
Track? All right, buddy. Appreciate you stopping by. You got your buddy Garrett Vaughn also, O-line and D-line. And I'll ask you pretty much the same questions, buddy. As your O-line and D-line, the other coaches talk very promisingly about you guys. Your Division 7 school, but your O-line and D-line is going to shine moment for you. Are you proud to be a part of that?
Yeah.
You should be. Talk to me a little bit about, you like offense better or defense better?
Probably offense.
Offense? Why? Most guys, I ask that question too, tell me they like the defense better.
Probably because like offense makes me think more. Just like it takes a whole like unit to make a play work, and once the play works, you feel good. It's like, oh, we did all our jobs.
So what you're using is your gray matter between the ears as well as the bond between your shoulders, right? Okay, when you shake your head, they can't hear you on TV.
Yeah.
All right, talk to me a little about how the other sports are coming along. Yes, other sports besides football?
I play baseball.
You play baseball. All right, buddy. I appreciate you stopping by. Going to break for a second, come back. I'm going to talk to Coach about a very winnable game, and I talked to Bucyrus about this. Both teams have a reasonable opportunity in this game, and we'll talk about that here in just one moment. Our show brought to you by Adam Weisner and everybody at Advanced Fiber Technology. Coach Tim Plumley, Mohegan Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation. Matt Studer, Spitzer Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Kia mile east of the Richland Mall. Rob Lust, Edgefield Animal Clinic in Marion. Matt Ramsey, John Ziegler, Drew Young, Frank Highland, and everybody at Bucyrus Blades, serving worldwide markets from Bucyrus since 1951. And Roger Brown at Winks Lock and Safe South Poplar at West Warren Street, Bucyrus. Coach, Bucyrus coming in to Washington on Friday night. As I said, on paper, this looks like a winnable game for both teams. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, honestly, watching Bucyrus on film, they look a lot like us. I mean, it's a lot of the same things. They have some good athletes. They have some good players up front. They do a lot of good things. It's really, and they have some weaknesses like we do, and we're really mirrored images of each other.
If and I get an opportunity to see teams every week, I would say your offensive line probably has a little bit of an advantage over them, and they maybe have a skosh more speed than you do.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's fair based on the stats as well. I mean, they definitely have some athletic kids in their secondary and their receivers, and that's fair.
All right. Your quarterback is doing very, very well this year. He's in, I think, the top 3 as far as yards. And again, we're talking about a Division VII school, so that's got to make him, as well as his coach, reasonably proud.
Yeah, Derek does well every week. He still have room to improve, and he knows that, and he works hard in practice and does well in the games and adjusts to what the defense gives us.
Keys to success in the football game Friday night.
It's really one of those things where we got to take what the defense gives us. We got to stop their big play on defense. They have some really nice athletes, and we have to stop their big play. That's really important. And then put together some drives on offense for us to take some time off the clock, keep the ball away from them.
All right, Coach, it's always a pleasure to have you on the radio. We look forward to talking to you again next week. Thank you so much for your time. And we'd like to thank all of our guests for being a part of the show from Bucyrus, Winford, and Buckeye Central. Thanks to Crystal Stewart and everybody here at Pizza Hut for their hospitality tonight. My remote engineer and cameraman, John Kreider. Harper Boggs is also here helping us out with the Crawford County YouTube, WQEL Facebook, and WBCO Facebook. Tonight's program for all 3 shows will be on the YouTube pages beginning at 9:30 tonight and on the web all week long. We'd like to remind you about some of the things coming up on sports. Cleveland baseball. How about that, guys? You got some Indian fans here? Guardian fans? Guys are shaking their no down there. What's your favorite team? The Tigers? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I hate to break it to you, but they didn't make the playoffs this year. Yeah, but then they've won some World Series since 1948 too. So, but nevertheless, we've got the Guardians against the godless New York Yankees. Tomorrow, broadcast coverage begins at 7:05 on WQEL. Coach's Corner East on the YouTube pages for WQEL in Crawford County now. That'll be Mike Sparks, Galleon Crestline, and Colonel Crawford. Ryan Day call-in show at 6:05 on WQEL Thursday. Guardians baseball against the Yankees, game 2 of the ALCS, and this is actually the divisional series, and that'll be against the Yankees, game number 2 at 7:05. Friday, high school football. We've got Bucyrus at Buckeye Central on WQEL. We've got Mohawk at Colonel Crawford on WBCO, and the phone board to follow that. Let's see, we have Guardians baseball on Saturday, and depending upon what time that game is, we may also have Ohio State football as well. For our guests and all of our engineers and everybody here at Pizza Hut, this is Davy Jones. Have a good evening, everybody.